Hi hobby friends, we are on a chaotic speed painting kick at the moment, and this week it's the turn of the sneakiest green and or blue boys this side of the Cicatrix Maledictum. Or that side. Or under your bed. Alpha Legion are amongst the more variable in their basic colour scheme, with some people painting them a fairly natural warm green, some opting for the snazzy cyan, and even some pretty blue looking offerings floating around there as well. I kind of want to do all of them. Oh, and a satin metallic finish, and I want to get it all done in about an hour and 20 minutes of painting time. Better get going then. Over our black prime, I've laid a zenithal of Vallejo's metal colour Gunmetal Grey, and then I swap out for Duraluminium and tighten up some of those volumes. Last step for this bit is to do a final highlights pass with Aluminium from the same Vallejo range, and then it's time to get colourful. We are starting our progression in the shadows, which is a sentence I can also imagine an Alpha Legionnaire saying. Our colour is less obviously of the Hydra though, Dioxazine purple ink. The why will become clear in a second, the where is all those downward facing surfaces and shadowy bits. I'm keeping this fairly controlled because I definitely want my predominant colour to be a turquoise on this guy. Speaking of which, here comes the turquoise deep ink now. This is a much more general all-over coverage. It's going to mix with that purple to make a rich bluish hue for us and keep to a pure turquoise over the still silvery bits. But I still don't feel there's quite enough variation in this colour. How about we go the other way to a greenier tone? Let's filter in some yellow over the top of the highlights. This is all that shifting and pushing around the colour wheel I'm always banging on about. We have a core of cyan turquoise and we pull it down into blue by overshooting into purple and up into green by filtering yellow. All that work is done over a value foundation laid in with metallics over black, which keeps our relative saturations and values in order for shadows and highlights. That was a lot of words. The point is, how bright or dark it is set with the metallic underpainting, and the colours are achieved by mixing on the Mini. Generally speaking, colours mix to whatever colour is between them on the colour wheel. The benefit of this approach is all that richness you get from layering. The ghost of purple lives on in the darks, and the spirit of yellow still sings in the highlights. Next, it's time for the time-consuming job of basing all the other bits, starting with scale 75 black metal on the trim. I skipped over one step actually for that armour work. After all the inks went down, I covered the whole thing in matte varnish. Now, it may seem a bit mad going to all the effort of making something shiny with metallics, only to mattify it after with a varnish, but I think everyone should try this for themselves. This matte metallic finish is one of my favourite textures for sci-fi armour. The particles of the metallic paint still catch the light, but the matte varnish adds an extra layer of interference, giving a sort of brushed metal vibe. It looks great, does not come across on camera at all, and is definitely one of those tricks that makes you want to spin the Mini around in your hand. Lots of options for a secondary colour in our scheme, but I'm trying out more green. It keeps things very tight while providing some contrast. Of course, purple or maybe an icy blue would also look great here. There's not much red doesn't look good with either, so let's make this lapdog on the fence here a blood angel. I thought I'd try a cool grey base on the skulls as well, so I opted for cool grey pastel from Molotow. Forgive me if you've heard me say this a million times before, but if you want a line of paints that is great for colour blocking, easy to work with, and gives you a super opaque finish, then you can't go wrong with Molotow One for All. And they work straight through your airbrush as well. Progressive highlights on the trim were done with more scale 75 metallics, namely heavy metal and speed metal, which keeps things nice and cool. A super fast glaze of a little Prussian blue ink here and there really adds that final little something as well, and it took literally less than 2 minutes, so well worth it. If you already own the Scale 75 Metal and Alchemy Silver set, you likely have posted to social media or confided in a friend that you can't possibly imagine what you'll use those weird colours for. You know, the green and purple ones. Well, fear not my friends, because I have found a use for one of them at least. All you have to do is start an Alpha Legion army and paint them exactly like this. Easy. Okay, so it is a bit niche, but this really is the perfect paint for this edge highlighting. If you don't have it, a touch of green mixed with a bright silver would do nicely as well. In case it's not clear, I'm on a little bit of a Chaos Space Marine kick at the minute. I already have an army painting video for my beloved Word Bearers, and last week we looked at Black Legion, plus this Alpha Legion chap this week, and luckily the Night Lords haven't really changed their colours since the Heresy, so we've got that one covered too. I still have a few unpainted Terminators on my shelf though, and we still haven't looked at the Iron Warriors, the Emperor's Children, or Huron's Red Corsairs. So, what do you fancy? Let me know in the comments down below. Normally, of course, I would let my beloved Patreons make that sort of important decision, but they've locked themselves in the parlour and refuse to come out until I bring the van around to pick them up. You can join those of unparalleled excellence by following the Patreon link below, or drop me a tip with the super like button if you've liked the video. Of course, the great YouTube gods in the Immateria are most pleased when you blast that like button with your warp-infused arm cannon, so why not take a shot at that too? Okay, let's take a gander at this boy. One Alpha Legion Terminator ready to infiltrate your loyalist space any day of the week. I know people like me are wont to say this, but these sort of effect approaches to painting, so the shifting greens and the matte metallic finish in this case, really do not read at all on camera. You need to get this mini spinning in your hand to properly appreciate the effect, get that light shifting and moving under the surface of the paint job. So, what will it be next week? Some morose metal boys? Some perfect princes? Or are you feeling piratical in your persuasions? Let me know in the down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you catch the rest of this Army Painting Chaos series. Cheers!